The Hospices de Beaune, or Hôtel-Dieu de Beaune, is a former charitable almshouse and was founded in 1443 by Nicholas Rollin, who was the Chancellor of Burgundy, and his wife, as a hospital for the poor. The original hospital building, the Hôtel-Dieu, was one of the finest examples of 15th century Burgundian architecture, and it's now a museum. After the 100 Years' War was fought between France and England during the Middle Ages, which lasted for like 116 years from 1337 to 1453, and this war was started because Charles IV of France had died without a male heir. Heck of a reason to go on a killing spree, huh? Well, guess who paid the price? The poor, the unadorned, the commoners. Some things never change. But in response to this situation in Beaune, Rollin, who was the Chancellor of Burgundy, and his wife started this hospital. In 1443, when Burgundy was ruled by the Duke Philip the Good, that 100 Years' War had just ended, but there were still massacres of marauding bands that were roaming the countryside, pillaging and destroying and just provoking a lot of misery and famine between the people who could not defend themselves. And the majority of the people of Beaune were actually declared destitute. So they built this hospital as a refuge for those people. To top it off, the area had just recently suffered an outbreak of the plague, and having gained permission from Pope Eugene IV in 1441, this hospice was built and then consecrated on December 31st of 1452. And in conjunction, Rollin also established other hospitals as a religious order, probably part of the deal with the Pope. The building's design was probably overseen by a Flemish architect and actually remains a hospital until the 70s. There is a documentary record of a large range of Flemish and French masons, painters, and glass cutters that were employed for its construction. The facade is today regarded as a superior example of Northern Renaissance civic architecture and a treasure trove of panel paintings. There are many paintings of Rollin and his wife and other members of his extended family. And that's not that unusual. They do it in today's hospitals. You see pictures of people that are major donors and people that were the presidents and ran the operations. The hospice received its first patient on January 1st, 1452. Elderly, disabled, and sick people with orphans, women about to give birth, and just the destitute have all been welcomed for treatment and refuge from the misery of the Middle Ages, right up, like I say, until today. This Catholic institution focused on healing both the body and the spirit of the patients. It's actually amazing how we humans spend so much time, energy, and money repairing others instead of preventing them from getting damaged in the first place. There is a charity auction that's held every year since 1859 to raise funds for the hospice. Rollin, for some reason, knew a lot about hospital institutions and used that knowledge when he was setting this up, but not for profit. He did it for society and the less fortunate. Either that or just thought he was buying his way into heaven. Hey, who knows? But he also gave them vineyards, farms, and woods. These poor people, for the first time in their lives, had the same doctor care that the wealthy had. They got to have fresh and healthy food, probably for the first time in their lives. To us, we think of this place as a death house, a place to die. But to them, it was probably a place of care and attention and religion and just a safe place to get away from people trying to hurt them. They probably got better food and care than they ever had during their lifetime and felt they could die in relative comfort. These bed chambers, although finally having a nice place to rest their bodies, They were finally treated like humans, even though they knew their fates. The odor in here must have been horrendous.